Hi, I'm Suzanne Barron, founder of Illuminati Exposed. You can purchase my books on Amazon. They are $9.99 for the Kindle option, $14.95 for the paperback option. If you are a Kindle Unlimited subscriber, they are completely for free for you. Um, my mind's like just jogging right now. Today I finally got a call from my pastor. He finally called me, and that was huge milestone. Like it felt really good to get that phone call today. But with everything going on in the letters that I've sent him, he one of his questions to me was if I had still wanted to hurt myself or did I did I want to hurt myself? And I can't remember exactly how he asked that question. But when I talk about these things to people, I always get this like they think that they need to try to help me because I'm going through something. And see, the thing is like I don't need the help. I don't need help because I'm going through something. I'm no longer going through anything that's negative on my life. Um, I want to stress this because it is difficult. Like I tell people, I heard a voice that told me to put a bullet in my head. And it's like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need help? Let me help you. And I understand that because we should want to help those people. And at the time, I did need help. And I don't want this to get confusing, but like when I went to the Celebrate Recovery meeting. I attended a meeting trying to see if maybe this is like the ropes that I want to go down, with other addicts and stuff like that. And because schizophrenia hits addicts. And the lady, she wanted to like preach to me. And it's just difficult to talk about these things and for the world to not see it as like a big negative because they think that I'm still going through something. And I'm not going through something. I'm just talking about my story and what I went through because to raise awareness, I guess. And I get it though, like I heard a voice tell me to put a bullet in my head. Oh, are you okay? You need help, and there's that concern, and the concern should be there. Um, and I'm not putting him down for that either. But it did make me want to raise a point. Like it just brought like an idea of something that I want to talk about. When I say that a voice told me to put a bullet in my head, the voice did convince me to do some crazy things. Now I'm not gonna say it didn't do that. The Satan came to me and he told me he was God and he told me to put a bullet in my head. He came to me a form. It was a form came to me. A voice came to me. Told me to put a bullet in my sleeping boyfriend's head. Neither one of those things I was ever gonna do. Like I was never going to do those things. It doesn't matter if I can hear the voice tell me to put a bullet in my head. That option was still not there. I wasn't when the voice came to me, I wasn't like even contemplating like maybe I should do this. I was fighting it like you've lost your mind. You're not God. God would never tell me to do that. Like this sounded better in my head. You know how it goes when people have something to say, it just sounds so much better when you're thinking about it. But I was never going to give that voice, that Satan, that demon that was talking to me at the time. I was never going to do those things. I was not going to do it. It was not an option. I never contemplated it. And I can't sit there and even get out into words like what that really is like. People say, "Oh, well, you've never really been pushed," and well, I'm telling you, a voice was like sitting right here, and it was talking to me, and it told me to put a bullet in my head, and it was the realest thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I didn't do it, and I wouldn't have done it. Now, in our world today, we hear. So here's the awareness. This is why I talk about it, right? The reason why I even say these things out loud, why I mention them, not because I need help for it anymore. I did. I did at one point, but nobody could help me. Nobody could help me. They didn't know what it was, and they thought I was sick. Now, there are people in the world that do hear a voice come to them, and it speaks to them just like it spoke to me. And it told me to put a bullet in my sleeping boyfriend's head. You see this on the news. people just randomly run into people's bedrooms and just kill them in their sleep. Like the young boy, we said, what is that, like a teenage boy? Something's wrong with him, mentally sick, right? And his entire house is asleep. He goes and gets dad's gun out of the freaking gun cage and kills everybody in the house. How many times have we seen a story like that on the news? This is why I speak about it. Awareness of what it is. That is Satan. We already know it's evil. We already know it's evil, right? We know that evil can do that. And we're like, there's something wrong with this child. There's nothing wrong with the child. If he says he hears voices, he's not schizophrenic. Satan is speaking to him. And we're not teaching this. We teach mental illness. We don't teach the spiritual world. This is why I talk about these things, to raise awareness. Not, don't focus on the negative and look to God. Focus on the negative, not giving negative the praise, honor, and glory, but we need to be talking about this negative. Everybody wants to talk about the good side of Jesus, the good side of God, and all the blessings and the encouragement and all this and all that. And all that is 100% true, and we should talk about it. But there still needs to be somebody talking about the foe. Those who have been redeemed from the foe. It's Psalm something. See, I'm not very good at quoting all these passages, but I know it's in there. Psalms, those who have been redeemed from the foe should speak about it. There are people in the world who hear these voices, and these voices convince them to do things that we naturally, because we are human-minded, not spiritual-minded, we are human-minded, fleshly-minded, we think that there's something wrong with them, that they are sick in the head, that something is wrong with them. And we call it evil, but we don't recognize that it is Satan inside of the person, driving him to do such things. That does not mean that we should exclude the law and there should not be punishment for it. No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to ever read court systems. Well, Satan spoke to me, so I'm innocent. No, you're not innocent. Because the law was set by God, spiritual world, right? Spirits of good to fight against the spirits of bad. And you still should be punished for it. Because it keeps our world safe. I don't know. Maybe that's a little difficult to talk about. Again, I'm still figuring these things out. But I sit here and I think about these things all the time. This is all I ever think about. Because I know it's real. And I know nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about it. They don't want to talk about it. It's scary. I had a girl today at work. She's not schizophrenic, but I talk about this at work. I pass my book out at work. These people at my job know that this is what I believe, and we don't talk about it like on this. I'm like, here, watch the videos or whatever. But I mean, I did tell her, like, I sat down with her one day and I told her about pretty much a lot of it. She was like, and I was like, and this just happened in February. So I'm like, it's not even February yet. Like, I just beat it in February. It was happening before February, but I beat it in February. It's only been a year. And she's like, wow. And I'm like, yeah. And I was talking to her about it today, and she's like, that's really scary stuff. It is really scary. And she's like, I don't even want to, like, you don't want to go there because of how scary it is. But the fact of the matter is because we don't want to go there, that the awareness is not being raised. And when these people hear these voices, they don't know what it is. They don't know. They seek help from everyone. I sought help from everyone. I was pushed to medicine. Everyone told me to go seek help from a doctor. I never went to a doctor. I knew I was not sick. And it got kind of scary. Like, the cops were looking to Baker Act me, and I couldn't call them anymore because I was afraid that was going to happen. And there's a lot of things that happened that I knew, like, I wasn't sick. I was driving to Ohio to kidnap my daughter. I never made it there. I don't know where I was. It was about an hour away. I do know this much. And I stopped dead stop in the middle of the road. Didn't even look behind me. Dead stop. I mean, that could have been really bad. You know what I'm saying? Like 45, 60 maybe. Just stopped right there in the middle of the road. What are you doing? You cannot go kidnap your daughter. And I pull off the road and I hear this heaviness in my car. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? This voice is trying to take my life. I could have went to jail for kidnapping her. I would not have custody of her right now if I had. How am I going to function the rest of my life with this thing? And that was Satan. Because God would not do that to us. We know that. Go get help from a doctor. This is real. And I firmly believe that it was at that moment that they started to give up on me, the demons. That they started to give up on me because I was not going to give Satan what he wanted. He had almost got me to do kidnap my daughter. It's pretty close. Well, the things he was convincing me of was pretty convincing, right? So I'm thinking maybe because nobody can tell me what's talking to me, right? I have no choice but to just believe that it could be the FBI trying to save my life. Although I'm in like Ohio at this point. So back in Florida, you were like the bad guy, but somewhere in between Florida and Ohio, you turned into the good guys. And now I'm going to go kidnap my daughter. You see how it doesn't make sense? But still, you hear this. You hear it. So you kind of go with it. The same girl I was talking about today at my job, she tells me a story about this girl who killed some people or whatever. She was like, this reminds me of a story I've heard of, and she tells me this news clipping that I don't really know. I've never heard the story before. Some woman who had like killed some people, and like her whole case was like, but you told me to do it. You told me to kill these people. I don't know who that they were, who the you is in her story. Maybe it was the government, FBI, right? The government told me to kill these people. And the government's like, we didn't do that. You're sick, mentally sick. You need medicine. You're a mass murderer. You're insane. You need to go to hospital. Blah, all these things. Right. Okay, well, the FBI told me to kidnap my daughter, but it wasn't the FBI. You got people out there in the world who hear these voices and they think that it is the FBI and they blame the government. They blame the cops because they know they're hearing something. And that's what I went through. I am no longer going through those things. That's why I told my pastor T on the phone, I'm stable. I'm stable now. As far as all that goes, I'm stable. Am I like sinless? Am I like the best behaved Christian? No. Far from it. But I still know the truth. And that is what I'm trying to expose is the truth. That these voices are real. And it is Satan. Do I still hear voices? Yes. Some days they're still heavy. They're no longer convincing me of crap like that because they know I'm inconvincible. You're not going to convince me of any of that crap anymore because I know what you are, Satan. And I do hear the voice of Jesus, the Father, the Holy Spirit, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God. I hear that voice too. And I recognize that tone. And it is what he says that I recognize, because he's not really giving me instructions. He encourages me and tells me that you will believe me. I don't need instructions. I don't know how it works. I'm still learning this stuff. All I know is that the voices are 100% real and they are spirits. 100%. I know this to be true. They are spirits. And there is a millions of people out there who are suffering from the voices that they hear. And not only are they suffering, in an instance where, like, I could have killed my boyfriend. He could be dead. I could be dead. And it's real. So am I suffering? I'm not suffering anymore. Do I understand when people are concerned? Sure. You don't want me to harm myself. I get it. Did this video go out like I thought it would? Probably not. I thought it would be a little bit more encouraging. I'm not an eloquent speaker. I'm not trying to put myself down or anything. I do so much better in writing. I have always been that way. My pastor knows this to be true. I will write things down and read them out loud sometimes. Like, maybe he hasn't experienced that too much, but I've been writing him letters since I've been in jail for a long time, and I just do better with letters. Mostly because I can sit down and think about what I want to say and write it out and copy and paste and delete and erase and all that other stuff. All right, I reckon this one's pretty much it. There was something else I wanted to talk about. How like right now I'm pretty tired. It's nighttime. I'm fixing to go to bed. But I worked today, and like I want to come home and I want to read my Bible and I want to study and I want to do all these things. And there's so many people in the world that they they're exhausted from their jobs and stuff, and it's like really hard to do those things. Even if I sit down and open the Bible up and I'm reading it, like my mind is so drained, I'm barely able to absorb half of what I'm reading. And that's another trap that we are in, because there are so many people out there that want to go to church. They want to study. They want to do that. But they're so caught up with having, not caught up, but like trapped, I guess is a better word, with having to make a living at work. And by the time they come home, and that's in my book, by the time they come home, they're like so drained and they got kids and families and everything, and they got to clean up and all this stuff and run around. Like, you're exhausted. You have just been run. All for money to make a living so that you can survive. Like, literally, you have to do it in order to survive. Nobody's going to pay your bills. That Egyptian pyramid on our American dollar. Illuminati exposed. And all this tiredness equates to why, like, sometimes I feel like the videos aren't that great. Because I'm tired and I'm barely able to even get out everything that I want to say. Just drained. I post them anyways. I just post them anyways. Thank you.